Okay, guys. This week, this is for Helen Keller. So if you were assigned to Helen's teacher, listen to this recording and answer your questions. What makes a teacher special? She may be funny. She may be smart. She may do fun activities. She may care about her students. She may show interest in what her students say. She may want her students to be the best people they can. Annie Sullivan was a special teacher. On April 14, 1866, Annie Sullivan was born. She was born in Massachusetts. Her parents were from Ireland. They were farmers. They did not have much money. Annie was sick when she was 5 years old. She lost her sight. Annie's mother died when she was 8. Her father could not take care of her or her brother. He took them to an orphanage. An orphanage is a place for children to live who do not have parents or homes. They did not see their father again. Annie's brother died a few years later. Annie was alone. She wanted to go to school. Annie begged everyone to let her go to school. Finally, she was allowed to go. She went to Perkins School for the Blind. She quickly learned how to read. She learned how to write. Annie learned to speak using her hands. It's called sign language. Annie had operations on her eyes. The operations helped her to see. In 1886, she finished school. She was a top student in her class. Annie wanted to help others. She became a teacher. She only had one student. Her name was Helen Keller. Helen could not see, she could not hear, and she could not speak. Helen was not well behaved. She never learned manners. Some people thought Helen was wild. Annie had to start teaching her manners. Once Helen calmed down, Annie began her teaching. Annie used sign language. She taught Helen the alphabet. She would sign letters into Ellen's hand. Then she would spell the names of things. Helen learned quickly. Helen went to college. Annie went with her. Annie would sign everything that the teacher said. She signed it into Helen's hands. Helen finished college. Annie was not a student, but she learned everything that Helen did. Helen and Annie now had a college education. Annie stayed with Helen. Helen traveled around the world, and Annie and Helen talked to people. They told their stories about Helen's life. In 1924, they started working for the American Foundation for the Blind. They helped other blind people. In 1935, Annie Sullivan became blind again. She died in 1936. She was 70 years old. Annie had been called a dedicated teacher. She put her students first. She cared about her. She wanted her to be the best person she could be. She made sure her student learned. Annie Sullivan's life was teaching. Number 1, on April 14, 1866, Annie Sullivan was born. Is that true or false? Number 2, Annie lost her what at 5 years old? Her hearing, her library book, her puppy, or her sight? Number 3, what is an orphanage? Number 4, what did Annie want to do while living in an orphanage? Number 5, what did Annie learn to do at Perkins School for the Blind? A, read, B, write, C, sign language, or D, all the above? Number 6, what is sign language? Number 7, Annie had operations on her eyes to help her see. Is this true or false? Number 8, who was Annie's first and only student? Number 9, what was the first thing that Annie taught Helen? A, manners, B, how to cook, C, how to play checkers, or D, how to add? And number 10, how did Annie help Helen when she went to college? Number 11, when Helen finished college, Annie stopped being her teacher. Is this true or false? Number 12, why did Annie and Helen travel the world? Alright, so, like I said before, make sure you read, answer your questions, work on your reading log, and your journal entries. If you have any questions, you guys all know how to contact me. Have a great week. I miss you. Again, if you need anything, let me know.